And welcome back to the Coronapocalypse podcast. This week's edition is brought to you by Preppers. Preppers. Still crazy, just not as crazy as we all thought. Alright guys, so for week 30, we are going to move into an essay. Originally this essay was going to be assigned before spring break, but with all the craziness going on, I wanted to go ahead and get this assigned earlier, because I think this is a topic some of you guys will enjoy, especially if you find that you're feeling a little lost, or that you just don't know what's going on necessarily. This will give you some motivation to go find out and get some points for it. So, as you'll see in the instructions, guys, this is your second and final economics essay of the year. And I decided to completely throw out the one we were going to do, which was about income equality or inequality and social justice and what can America do to make life better for people. But forget that. They're all going to be dead soon anyway. Instead, we're going to focus on the COVID-19 outbreak. So, I have a prompt for you guys. I have the rubric and score sheet, which has not changed from last time because I'm not here to help you guys out, really. And, of course, I have an assigned answer sheet for you guys, so please make sure you write it in here because it's correctly formatted, it's correctly set to the font and spacing that I want as an academic. Now, before I get into the details, please remember, as I highlight this, due dates are only a suggestion. It's more important that you get the work done, in this case the essay, completely and to the best quality you can. Okay, there's no penalty for turning things in late. I'm only going to continue to give you due dates for one, my own records, and two, to make sure you guys have a sense of pace. Apparently some people feel that they're being assigned too much work while having to take care of siblings. So please remember, guys, that if you cannot work on my essay for a day, fine, take the day off. Come back to it the next day. If you need a week and a half to do this, no worries. Just turn in when you do, and it will get full credit. Just make sure it's as good as it can be. All right, let's look at the nitty-gritties. So, rubric score sheet, guys, it hasn't changed. It's just the same as it was before. Same thing with the answer sheet. You'll notice its format essentially the same. I've already pre-dated it and put the correct period and class in. You just need to make sure you update your name correctly, leave the title alone, and of course, please remember, guys, to erase these things. They are just here as placeholders to remind you how indentations work. Alright, now into the essay itself. Your prompt is: the novel coronavirus, designated COVID-19, has now been classified as a global pandemic, causing shutdowns across the globe as large sections of the population in many countries, including the US, have gone into social distancing or under quarantine. As of the time that I wrote this prompt last week, we were still at social distancing. As of the time I'm recording it on Monday late morning, we are now in one step closer to mandatory lockdown. Here is your prompt. You will discuss, based on news reports. Please remember, Facebook, your friends' Twitter and TikTok accounts do not count as legitimate sources of information or, in fact, anything. Based on news reports. Detail the economic effects that have been felt across America since COVID-19 reached pandemic levels at the start of March 2020. So what that means is you are not producing an argument. There is no argument. COVID-19 has caused massive economic stress to the American system. There's no argument there. You are writing an expository essay. You are detailing the effects. This is what would be called a survey work in a history class. I also gave you the date starting March 2020 because that is when it started to really tumble into free fall for the financial sector, and it's when the infection rates started to ramp up. This also gives you a limited window. I wanted to make sure I didn't give you too much space to have to use. So we're focusing on the last 3 to 4 weeks and what's that done to the American economy. Now, your citation requirements for this one. You must use 4 different sources. Each paragraph, must have at least one source cited. Lastly, you can use a source once or you can use it multiple times. It's your choice, but obviously every source has to be used once. And if you find that one source is better than the others, you can reuse it. I will have the reminders about how to do that at the bottom. This is going to be a 6-paragrapher. I have 4 particular topics I want you to focus on. Now remember, as always guys, you're seniors, so your outline is not mandatory, it's a recommendation. But keep in mind, I want you to answer the prompt fully, which is why I designed this outline the way I did. So, looking at the topic. Introduce the topic by defining COVID-19. So, typical as always. Your thesis. Clearly state how it has affected the American economy. Note, good, bad, growth, shrinkage, what has it done to the U.S. economy? And then you need to roadmap. Please remember, you should always do all your notes first because that allows you to properly build the roadmap. Preview the overall effect. Preview the industries negatively affected. That's going to be your second body paragraph. Your third one, preview the industries that have been most positively affected. I will go into detail in a moment. And lastly, your fourth body of evidence, preview one of your predictions on the long-term effect of COVID-19. Now, you still need to cite this, meaning this prediction is not a random guess. This is a economic prediction based on evidence and logic. Now, I also don't want to see the word I anywhere. I realize it says your predictions, but you do not frame it as I think this will happen. Instead, you're going to frame it as the evidence suggests, or past history suggests, or one might imagine. Do not use the word I, or I will take an entire letter grade off. Now, for the body itself, the first topic is going to be the effect on daily life. So this is your general category, where you're simply going to focus on the overall effect. Give examples from day-to-day life. Think of, Costco selling out toilet paper, or the fact that there are lines to the grocery store now, or the fact that the stock market is on fire. Do you have an overall picture? Then get specific. Body 2, I want you to focus on any businesses that are suffering from lack of customers. Try to come up with at least one major, like say the airlines, and yes, I'm giving you a hint here, guys, and a smaller one, like say what's happening to the restaurant business. But then I want you to do a 180, and I want you to look at the industries that have been helped by the coronavirus. And yes, several of them have. So, name a product that's selling really well. Think of something maybe that you can't get in the store because everybody's buying it. There's far more demand than supply. Then give some details about several products or entire industries that are selling more than ever. Now, here's your big hint, guys. Consider what people are hoarding or what the preppers might be looking for, or the people that are newly preppers. All right, your last specific one, long-term predictions. So, oh, there's a typo here. Okay, let me fix that, guys. So, for your topic on long-term predictions, okay, just give a single statement about your prediction. Okay, basically, guys, basically, guys, just give me the fortune cookie guess, okay? No I. Again, I don't want to see I. Okay. So just give a single statement, predict it. And then the next 5 to 6 sentences, those are your details. Those are your pieces of evidence. Look at the domestic. Look at the global. How might this change behavior? What are people going to buy more of, less of? Is it going to change how people consume entertainment? Are people going to latch on to home entertainment and go to movies in even less numbers than ever before? And again, this can have some extrapolation. You can predict, but you need to have some evidence in here to back it up. So, conclusions. During your conclusion, guys, restate your thesis, restate your 4 major arguments, restate one major prediction about the U.S. economic activity, like, for instance, people are going to fly less, or people are going to go to China less, because it was the inception point of the outbreak. Your final statement, this would be my suggestion. Explain how the stress on the American economy might affect the lives of average Americans. So, for instance, think about being shut in, or what's happening to people who can't go to work, or people whose work is being done at home, like Mr. Barber is right now. And then, guys, this should all look familiar. This is the exact same thing I've been including. Your citation stuff is the same as it's always been. Command is left hand control plus alt plus F. It should say 4. And yes, guys, you can see that I copy and paste, and then I just make corrections as I go. So each one should be cited at the end of the paragraph, guys. If more than one source is used, use the semicolon, as you can see right here, where I have 2 sources, Physics, Quantum Magazine, and History.com. Please remember, if you use the source the second time, just use the short version, as you can see me highlighting. Okay, that's it for my breakthrough, guys, of your instructions. If you have questions, email me. I am checking 10 to 20 times a day because I don't have anything else to do except entertain a 2-year-old that is trapped inside the house. All right, guys, have a nice day, and you will have another video from me next week.